dropped that rabbit and went out and caught the next rabbit. And them guys were just shaking their heads.
A gentleman named Charlie Suttle from Tennessee. He came, he was a hound man.
If we found an overnight track, we'd most always catch up to it.
Since about 1963 till now, I don't know how many years that is. This is 2017. I've been hunting with dogs ever since.
All right, I think tomorrow's the 1st of May. It's Sunday. Anyway, I got contacted by Cody Milton about going up to Ruidoso and interviewing and talking to Tommy White and his dad, Don Milton. They have some really good stories between both of them. They've been, they probably got 100 years of experience or maybe more. I don't even know, but when I first started out, I talked to Tommy quite a bit, and he helped me, and Don, I know that he hunted lions. I think he'd been down there even with Dale Lee back in the day, or Clell, or one of them, and hunted in Arizona. But anyway, it kind of presented a new problem to me. Before I'd done the interview, and I'd done it I interviewed Dennis Carson. He was helped in camp down in Mexico for Dale Lee, and then I went down and talked to Charlie Settles, of course, in Tennessee, and interviewed him. And just a one-on-one interview was pretty easy to do with just like this little sound recorder. I mean, video is important, but the most when you're interviewing someone, you want to have good audio, and good audio is really hard to get, or it's not as fun, I guess. I don't know, but anyway. I got away with it with using the little Zoom 1, and then I did David Heiss also, and I just used a shotgun mic on top of my camera, and it worked pretty good. But like in the David Heiss interview, if you notice, I'm not in the interview. It's just David, and that's preferably, that's the way I'd like to do it all the time anyway. I'd rather it just be about them. If you can kind of, prompt them, ask them questions, and then answer them in such a way where you know what they're talking about. I'd rather not be in it, but I'm not sure how this one's going to pan out. But it presented a new problem to me is, having both those guys there at the same time. It's kind of hard to have this and pass it around or whatever. And then the audio you get off the camera just isn't that good. So and with the Dennis Carson and Charlie Settles, it's pretty easy. I use my shotgun mic, and I still haven't completely edited those. I've worked at it, but they're real important to me, and I want to make sure that I do a good job, and that I get, that the people who watch the video appreciate it or see that it's good enough quality, or whatever. I don't know. I just want to make sure I do a good job editing it and putting it together. So I haven't done that yet, and it's going to take some time for me to sit down and put it all together. And I do these little videos. It's just something that's fun for me. I hope people enjoy them. It's fun for me though. And and then as far as the Patreon site, I started that Patreon site for the interviews because I wanted the community or whatever. I wanted to do something for the hound community that would provide some value and some historical perspective maybe, or some perspective on some of the guys that had, started, that kind of did it before us, and that we've all learned from, and tell their story. And with the Patreon side, I wanted, it cost me money to go out and do it. And at first I thought, well, if I just put the videos only available on Patreon, and people could only see them on Patreon, if they contributed, you know, $1, $5 per video or per interview or something like that, then that would prompt them to do it. And dang smoke. Anyway, that, you know, I do have some guys that have contributed or have pledged to contribute. But after talking to them and discussing it with them, most of them really, you know, they don't care that it's just available on Patreon. They, like me, they want to make it available to everyone. So I'm gonna make the videos available to everyone. I'll put them on YouTube, or probably on YouTube. It's just easier for me to work with YouTube and make them available to everyone. And if people feel like they want to contribute and they want to be a part of it, then the Patreon side is there for them. If they, you know, and I'm going to do them anyway. The only thing it'll do is if people will support it, it'll help me get to other guys further away, be able to help me get more of them out, and hopefully get better quality. But anyway, back to the audio. So with two guys and then me asking them questions, it kind of presented a problem with the audio. I didn't quite know how to do it. So I broke down and bought, I got an idea. I'll show you what I bought. Here we go. Okay. So I sent away to B&H, what is it? B&H. It's B&H something. And this wasn't a cheap deal, but I'm hoping I can do a good job with these interviews. So I sent away this is a H6, Zoom H6. It's like the big brother to this. This one records, this is Zoom H1. This will record 6 different tracks and has all the professional adjustments where you can adjust the volume to each track. So you make sure, you know, each person or each track, you're getting clean, clear audio from them. So I bought this, and I bought 3 of these Audio Technica wireless mics, or lavalier mics, where you have the little lavalier here and it's got a transmitter, and then you have a receiver, and the receiver plugs into this H6. So each person will have their own mic, and then you can adjust it to make sure that you're getting good clean audio from them. There's 3 of those. And then of course you got some headphones that you plug into that so you can hear the audio, make sure it's real clear and you're not getting any popping or whizzing or anything like that. So this wasn't cheap. I spent a lot of money on this. So I guess just showing it to you to make sure that you understand, or the guys who support me or the patrons know that I'm doing this I'm trying to do the best quality, and that everyone who helps, you know, is appreciated. And I'm going to do it anyway. But if you contribute and you help, then it'll just help me get to more people and maybe further out, maybe be able to travel some. I'm sure, you know, just in this area, there's a lot of interesting guys to talk to, you know, that have been doing it for a long time. And I got Tommy White and Don Milton. I talked to Mike Root. He said I can interview him, and he's a character. I got Cecil Ralston. I'd like to do him. He's up in above Albuquerque there. He's been hunting forever. And Pat Wonstadt, I think he hunted with Clell Lee, and Jim Farmer. He's the one who's going to set that up, and he's really knowledgeable about the history of the of the dry ground dogs in the Southwest, out of Arizona and New Mexico here. And then up in Utah, I had a guy call me about going and talking to one of the Meachums. I don't know if it's Stan or not. I haven't done any investigation, and I haven't talked to them yet to see if they'd be willing to, to do it. A lot of these guys don't really want to talk to you, but hopefully he will, and it'll be something. I'd have to, I'll have to travel to get up there to do it, and shoot. It's a long ways, but hopefully it'll all work out, and we'll be able to get, and hopefully it'll provide value, or some, the guy, people watching it will enjoy it. I know years ago, when Bruce, back in the days of the Shade Tree Big Game Forum, and Bruce Kennedy was still alive, and he went and he did these videos with, he did Wiley Carroll, he did Warner Glenn and his daughter, Kelly. He did, there's a whole bunch of them, and man, I just couldn't wait to get my hands on them, and I listened, I still have them, and I had called after Bruce passed, and everything here a few years ago. I called Bruce's widow wife and asked her, if it would be all right if I made them public on YouTube. And I didn't know anybody was doing anything with them, and I thought it would be value to the hounding community, and I called, finally got a hold of her and finally talked to her, and she said, somebody up north had the rights to those, and that they were selling them or whatever. Bruce had gave them to them, and she would have to talk to them to find out. She hadn't talked to them in a long time or something, and that she'd have to talk to them to find out if it was all right. And I sat around, I waited, and I probably waited 3 weeks, and I never heard back from her. So I just went ahead and posted a couple. Well, the guy who had the rights to them up north, he got a hold of me and asked me if I would take them down. So that's what I did. I'd still like to see if there was some way we could make them available to the young guys, because I wish he had, Bruce did it his own way, and probably with the technology or the equipment that he had at the time, it was good. But I'm trying to do a little bit, as good. I hope I do as good a job or better, So there you go. That's the stuff. And then when I have time, I'm going to do the Dennis Carson and the Charlie Settles. I just want to be able to sit down and do a really good job. There's a lot of content there, and I don't want to screw it up. And I'm just kind of a high-tech redneck. I don't have any formal training in this stuff. So anyway, that's it. I think I'm going to go exercise the dogs down the 2-track here. Here we go.